So we need to talk about secondary succession. Primary succession was when you have new rock. So you've got new volcanic pyroclastic flow that's solidified. You have new rock from glaciers that have been covered for tens and hundreds of thousands and even millions of years. Rock that hasn't been settled before. That was primary succession. Secondary succession is the same process, but it only can occur after a climax community has been taken out or destroyed from something. Usually it's going to be a natural disaster or humans. So natural disasters can be like fire. A fire can take out an entire forest, bring it down to the ground. There's nothing there except for soil. Now it's great because the soil substrate's already there, so the forest can bounce back a whole lot faster than how it originated. But the process still applies. You're still going to have those lichens. You're still going to have the mosses, and you're still going to have the grasses. They have to start the process. So the fire is a natural, like a natural disaster. You can also have, your hurricanes, tornadoes, tsunamis, earthquakes, avalanches, mud flows. All of those floods can go into this. This is human caused. So you've got farmers that plow a field. You've got people who take over the forest. They cut all of it down for paper products or palm oils. Deforestation, farming, and agriculture are like the top ones. Usually you've got deforestation because of agriculture. It's usually done because they want to make more room for their fields. It still counts, as secondary succession only once the farmers move. So here you've got your annual plants. So you see how you don't really have this bare rock you have to mess with anymore because the soil is still there. So again, timing takes a whole lot less. Your perennials and plants and grasses take over, then your shrubs, and then back into your hardwood trees. This still takes a long period of time. So if we're talking about time, for secondary succession to take place, it's going to be over 100 years. Primary succession takes longer, hundreds and even thousands of years, but secondary succession has this soil substrate already there. So you've got your incident. You've got about a year or two after, you've got these tiny little flowers, usually some herbs. Grasses and perennials are going to come in about around 5-year mark, and then your shrubs are going to start hitting. Your intermediate species in this regrowth of a forest is what most people are going to see throughout the entirety of their lifetime. It takes about 120 years for an oak forest to mature. So you're looking at anywhere from 120 to 300 years depending on where you are. So again, forbs and grasses, shrubs, first tree species, 4 sub 2, 4 sub 3, it all means the same thing. There's one other kind of succession. It's called pond succession. It's when a pond gets filled in over time, turns into a wetland because you've got less water, you've got more of a substrate, turns into a meadow like a field, and then eventually into a forest. So this is how Ohio was settled. So if you've ever gone outside and looked at a rock, you'll see seashells on rocks in Ohio. This is how Ohio was formed. So the water kind of disappeared because all of this soil and substrate filled in the gaps. All the aquatic organisms died, and you had primary succession. You had these grasses, mosses, and lichens take over, and then eventually you have your animals. You're almost never going to get animals until you're intermediate species. Just a fun fact. All right, that is the end of our notes. If you have any questions, make sure you email me, text me on Remind, whatever you need. Watch this again if you need to. Thanks.